Yeah, you do tank LIPP 2022 investigative. Like, when is enough enough? For all I've been through, will it go in vain? I cringe from this existence. The life I chose or the one I've been given. Not necessarily the life I wanted, but I rose heavenly, trying to turn every vice when I step in weeds. Is it death in me, my skin tangle, baiting me to ooze infection? The price is right, or everyone got a price. When I first got sick, I just knew something was not right. No coincidence, they taught us in school every story got a plot. Guess a plot I would defy and resist. Nonetheless, maybe not some dots I would co-sign, but in a nutshell box they would still cross T. But would I dot their I's, or they dot mine? Afflicted, rot in hell, or just rot my mind? Racing with so much noise, trying to stay calm and not react. How can I stay poised? Turbulence from so many thoughts just to be I is a coexistence to be silent. Not wise, the cat with 9 lives or 36 deaths in every monkey chamber, trying to dodge the hat trick of the maverick. Am I Dr. Seuss as my brain thinks in rhymes, or David versus Zeus? Ain't nothing Greek, this frat Illuminati, and the deadly melody Pavarotti as the phantoms of this opera of Who Shot Ya? The puppet master wants you to sing, not sing, to not wish for another day like this. But the world dies if we lose our last beat. Spells ring like the phone. Imagine my John Lennon to be curious to pick up the call, knowing the waves to be on the same page in a different day, or pick up the call when God is called upon. They said God did, but of what sin to ask Satan for help? Is the monkey in between my ears to listen to my gut instinct? We're not choose but compelled to not lose. That I'm unhinged but to be free in a zoo with more monkeys as the blonde lead covering our eyes. But I still see their hand in the game, even in disguise, thinking they're sly, but to outfox the cards when they've been dealt. In the hell felt and the ringing in my ears is hell's bells. But I've smelled worse in the 101 classroom, knowing the light and the darkness is to torture you as they gas you. These weren't tasks for half of you that couldn't possibly understand my past, or been in those black shoes waiting for snack time just so I could take a nap from the chopping board. They got my balls trying to make me less of a man, but the more hell I'd gone through made me just that, more of a man than they ever can. Even as these worms in that can and the lid they popped became my ball sack, in a worse sack of infection, trying to trace back. Almost pointless, for in my eyes is 4 eyes that sees all realms upon any inspection of this detention. As the criminals pay no bail but a new entrance, as I find new reasons to find new exits, but trapped for no doors open but bats. The more I tried not to look, more shook, like look at me and I can't stray as the hook of these caps. Too big to ignore even if I'm no longer the captain, but a tin can beggar for change in a world where the DJ revolves it, dying immune to the antibiotics. Reality sucks, such is life, and the cost is play the cards you've been offered, or a light switch to more darkness as they switch off to the button of offness. Often this what God did, or a coffin inside a coffin. In the inception of trying to get smart, you get so smart it's toxic, to the point you actually wish you were retarded, just to not have to get up another day and start the same retarded boxed shtick. And it's obnoxious how these snobs get in the mob mentality, to whom they put on the pulpit rather than the pulp. Then the fiction they spit is non-addiction to Jane than the G.I. Joe who actually lived it. On my mother, is it Mary to let me be who I am than Mary Jane's addiction? And the smoke you consume and the smoke screen in my dreams to make it. If I have to let the pulp fiction truth be pro, then the cons who couldn't accept the truth, if they saw it naked in the booby trap Saw movie when Stella got my groove back to instill me to just be me, then became the bee instead of the bee trap hive mind of the collective masses. put in checkmate instead of the stale air, thick with no care but to proceed with false narratives, is charitable only for the purses who instilled the curses of membranes and men slayed and gone insane in the membrane, but to be righteous for the right shtick instead of left and right whips, and being a slave trace the roots of evil, not per se to a certain clan, but in the hills of Cyprus, clown posses that thirst bodies and praise Gotti. I'd trek the world with a lost mob, solo in a house of pain, jumped around and junk, trashed and thrown away, and accessed enough to provide answers to their research so they can make more slaves in modern day at the cost of my rage. Then be more quarantined the more I try to speak, but build it, they will come in my field of dreams. The story warped through time, sept and stars in these wars where the Jedi mind don't have to sleep to keep sane, but in a warped Mars, Martians, more seeds of a man not from Venus but wouldn't die in vain, but still bleed heart and soul and even literally through these veins in these days. Thinking back to 2008 on Halloween, where a Jason mask would eventually become Friday the 13th, and Freddy's hands from a prince be a junior, then a senior as I advance, also become less of a champ to the mass as they persistently try to put their foot up my ass than blast, but see more light every time I'm more gassed, to a zombie to more focused, to find the more focused, more lost in a tunnel, losing sight and vision to the obvious around, trying to escape the curse, the box, as I look the horse more in the mouth, more box to less sense, less change, more shook, less sense, more hooked, more strange, less sound while more noise, even holes in my one pair of socks, more time but a less smart clock when they took my soul that my heart also stopped to try and achieve when they wanted me gone, more lost, less sought, the more I spoke and taught, then the more I try to dodge their bullets, more broke, more forsaken, more taken, more got, silence, try to work my nerves on their road, etched like an etch-a-sketch to the core, creaking bones the more I speak, trying to get my story out, the same time they trying to get my story blocked. Facebook, more blocked. Twitter, more blocked. Splinter cells, don't talk. We will bury you alive, try to terminate me, but Schwarzenegger or my house, this pain to torture the pig when the pig's a cop, to narrate for who's the beast. My crisis mode was more talk, less chalk, but life became a chore to find balance with taming my talent and the thin line between knowing when to speak and realizing that if I don't react doesn't mean I'm a coward. Seeing eye to eye with myself on screen that I was so many mats, a doormat, stepped on, laid out, crapped on, slept, napped on. Matt Damon, the best kept secret, demented to lose, not retain my facts that I'd been hacked. Now you may see Jason Lipp is also Jason Bourne, where Red Sparrow torn between love and hate, and the hate of love lost, and the stars above is the maze around us, run around in so many ways that the body is the vessel for my mind, not just in hindsight but the future, forewarned to be war strong, as my weakness can be turned to might, like the keys in a mad scientist's lawn is the revenge of mice. In the experiment that a strong Tang turned weak could be strong again with less friends who were foes more than real friendship, and carry us all through the matrix of embezzled weapons to turn people against people and men against themselves through hell. Could be God versus the devil and heaven prevail. The same time they try to hammer the nail is one slammer closed to another jail, in a rat race run by snails that were actually slowed but in what they learned on their own, inadvertently taught fast as hell to be faster than it. I mean, I try to tell y'all and warn y'all, the truth has a funny way of always coming out. The devil always shows his face. Not saying I'm that devil, I might just be that truth, and eventually the story gets out.